Hi, hello everyone. Welcome back to the quiz based on Old English language and literature. Today's first question: which is the longest religious debate poem in Old English? Christ and Satan in a Junius manuscript. Which group settled in Great Britain and formed a new cultural identity? Germanic people from continental Europe. What is Christ and Satan about? The poem deals with the conflict between Christ and Satan during the 40 days in the desert. What are the main categories of Old English prose? Christian and secular prose. What is Solomon and Saturn? Solomon and Saturn is a debate poem where Saturn, portrayed as a magician, debates with the wise king Solomon. What are Old English short verses used for? Old English short verses were used for practical advice, such as remedies against cattle loss or delayed birth. What is the longest charm poem? Nine Herbs Charm. Give an example of a short charm poem for a swarm of bees or against a stabbing pain. What is the purpose of mnemonic poems? Mnemonic poems help memorize lists and sequences of names or objects. Name two mnemonic poems. The rune poem, The Fates of the Apostles. What language developed due to Germanic settlement in Britain? Old English. Which language was the closest non-relative of Old English? Old Frisian. When did the first Germanic-speaking settlers likely arrive in Britain? Possibly in the 4th century AD. Why did larger numbers of Germanic peoples immigrate to Britain in the early 5th century AD? Due to the end of Roman rule and the breakdown of the Roman economy. Which language family does Old English belong to? West Germanic. What dialects did Old English develop from? North Sea Germanic dialects. Which is greater in volume, Old English prose or poetry? Old English prose. Who was the most widely known secular author of Old English? King Alfred the Great. What did King Alfred lament about education in England? He lamented the poor state of Latin education. What was King Alfred's solution to the educational decline? He proposed educating students in Old English first and then teaching Latin to those who excelled. Which Latin book did Alfred translate into Old English as hired the book? Cura Pastoralis, that is Pastoral Care, by Pope Gregory the Great. What was Alfred's Old English translation of Boethius' De Consolation philosophy called? Froffer Book or Book of Consolation. What Old English book is based on Augustine's Soliloquia? Blotsman or Bloom? Which Old English text contains some of the first 6 books of the Bible? Old English Hexaton. What type of works did Alfric include in his Catholic homilies? Sermons and lives of saints. What is Wulfstan II's most famous sermon? Sermo Lupi ad Anglus. What did Wulfstan blame for Viking invasions? The sins of the English people. Which early Old English text provides information on saints and martyrs? Martyrology. What are the Blickling homilies? Blickling homilies is a collection of church sermons from the 10th century. Which book contains the prose life of Saint Guthlac? Vassili book. Name 2 additional saints' lives found in the Julius manuscripts. 7 Sleepers of Ephesus and Saint Mary of Egypt. How many major manuscripts of the Wessex Gospels exist? 6. Which Old English Gospel is treated as a 5th Gospel in one manuscript? Old English Gospel of Nicodemus. Name 2 apocryphal Gospels translated into Old English. Gospel of Matthew and Apocalypse of Thomas. What does the Old English word hlafrich mean? Lady. What is the oldest surviving work of Old English literature? Caedmon's Hymn. When was Caedmon's Hymn composed? Between 658 and 680 AD. When was Caedmon's Hymn written down? Early 8th century. When do the oldest coherent runic texts date from? Early 8th century. When was the Old English Latin alphabet introduced? Around the 8th century. Which 9th century king promoted education in English? Alfred the Great. Which dialect became the standard for government and literature in the 9th century? West Saxon dialect or early West Saxon? Which Latin treatise did Alfred the Great translate into English? Pastoral Care, written by Pope Gregory I. Which form of literature developed first in Old English? Poetry. Who influenced the later Old English literary standard in the 10th century? Bishop Ethelwald of Winchester. When was the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle likely started? During the time of King Alfred the Great. For how long did the Anglo-Saxon chronicle continue? Over 300 years. Which classical romance survived from the Anglo-Saxon period? A fragment of Apollonius of Tyre. From which source was Apollonius of Tyre translated in the 11th century? Gesta Romanorum. What does "ald" mean in Old English? Old.